Thank you so much. Good morning. Buenos dias. And let me begin by thanking Mayor Suarez, my friend, for welcoming us to the city of Miami and for helping us launch this event, as well as another great friend, Adrian Arsht, an icon of Miami, whose long-standing commitment to this city and to Latin America and the Caribbean continues to inspire us. Let me just say that it's really great to be here back home, and this is my home. And I am a product of Miami. I'm one of the countless children of Spanish-speaking immigrants and refugees who got their start in this city of dreams. And ironically, I used to spend right here in this neighborhood in Wynwood. 2 blocks away to the north, my grandfather had his workshop where I used to work every summer, and my uncle had his video store 2 blocks to the east where I used to work also the summers there, where VHS, yes, when VHS was king. So just look at how far we've come in this regards. But I'm extraordinarily proud to welcome you today to this Miami-LAC 2021 event. Over the next 2 days, we're going to benefit from dialogue, insights, opportunities with our both in-person and virtual audience of entrepreneurs, innovators, and corporate pace setters, leaders of business, large and small, whose lives, investments, and the value chains straddle North America and South America. Personally and professionally, it's really an honor to inaugurate the Inter-American Development Bank's first forum dedicated to promoting trade and investment opportunities between South Florida and the region to which it is intrinsically linked, and that's Latin America and the Caribbean. And while the goal of strengthening ties between Miami and the region is not new, and we've talked about it and we've heard it for decades, there is a historic opportunity, a unique multi-generational opportunity that is before us today. And we're here because of the connections we are primed to realize right now by working together, and can only do so by working together. Given the historical relationships and the present-day ties, Miami is the ideal gateway between both continents. And that's why nearly 1,500 multinational firms have locations in South Florida, some of which serve as the regional headquarters for Latin America and the Caribbean. Nearly 1/3 of all U.S. exports to Latin America flow through the state of Florida, figuratively, or, thanks to deep water seaports, literally. Now, of course, we need to challenge ourselves. That's why we're here. We need to challenge ourselves to think even bigger, to take it to the next step, to build on the links between North and South America, as well as between the Americas and Europe, and I'd add, Asia, a transatlantic triangle of sorts. In recent years, connectivity itself between Miami, Latin America, and otherwise has also taken on new forms. In many cases, cables under the ocean and satellites high above the earth are what join people and regions together. The digitalization of life and business that has been accelerated during the pandemic, a unique opportunity. There's not a human being in the world today that doesn't understand, because of the pandemic, the importance of connectivity, the importance of digitalization, and how that's going to define the winners and losers of this century. It's given a rise to a new class of entrepreneurs, to new business ecosystems, to new frontiers for investment. The global digital transformation market is expected to grow by almost 25% annually through 2028, and the business process outsourcing market will grow by nearly 9% each year during that same period. Right here, Miami is seizing, thanks to the leadership of Mayor Suarez, is seizing, and all of the community that's here today is seizing that momentum. And it's now one of the hottest tech and innovation startup hubs in our hemisphere, I dare to say, in the world. This city has already attracted close to $1 billion in venture capital just last year, and even Silicon Valley mainstays are eyeing a possible switch and stay, which is important. Unsurprisingly, many Latin Americans, from Mayor Suarez to the executives participating in this forum, have played an important role, a key role, a leading role in this metamorphosis. We must also acknowledge that the establishment of a business-friendly environment, an example for the region, a business-friendly environment here in Miami, has been key to this recent success, opening the door to tomorrow's opportunities. And today, what we're here to consider and act upon, because you know I don't like rhetoric, I like action, to act upon is the confluence of factors that I have described. And that's this: the digital transformation of economies and services, 1. The rise of Miami as a top tech focus, and the many bonds between the city and the IDB as a region, and what has engendered an immense new opportunity between Miami and LAC, and a new relationship in that sense. We now have the power to turbocharge digitalization and technology-based solutions across the hemisphere. And in doing so, we can work together to create a regional sphere of entrepreneurship and innovation. Both small, medium-sized businesses and larger companies on both sides of the equator growing together, an entire ecosystem. And we can form new value chains and services, expanding financial inclusion, finding new markets, and discovering new and creative ways to tap into them, the development needs that the region has, and what is our job in the Inter-American Development Bank to accomplish. A constellation of other initiatives will support these goals, and we're going to work on many more. One example is our growing relationship with the University of Miami on knowledge sharing, capacity building for small businesses in the Caribbean in particular, which we just discussed yesterday with the Dean. Companies in our region are positioned to be outstanding partners to U.S. firms and entrepreneurs in developing the ecosystem that we envision. Despite the pandemic, and just that, it's a notion of the talent in the region. Despite the pandemic, Latin America's tech industry secured a record 488 venture capital deals in the past year, directing $4.1 billion into the region's startups. That's a testament to the human capital, to the talent in the region. Some of these firms, from the unicorns to those just starting up to the startups, have already benefited from those links that are established with South Florida and have links to South Florida or are looking for links to South Florida. The latest rankings of reference include 11 Latin American and Caribbean countries amongst the 60 top locations for global services based on factors that include financial attractiveness, people skills, and availability. Latin America and the Caribbean was also the fastest growing retail e-commerce market last year, and the need for capacity in the three T's that we call telework, telehealth, and teleeducation, has pushed to unprecedented levels the needs of the region and the demand as a result of the pandemic. And so now is the moment to digitally refresh the page. Click refresh in our long history of Miami-LAC connectivity. It's a new opportunity, a new world. And the IDB has convened this forum to really help us do so, to execute on this vision. And over the next 2 days, we're going to explore success stories in high value-added sectors and seek out more opportunities, make more connections. Alongside our experts from the IDB, our private sector arm, IDB Invest is here as well, and our innovation incubator, IDB Lab, the only international financial institution in the world that has an innovation incubator focused on technology. And we're very proud of it. So we're going to hear from entrepreneurs, investors, corporate leaders from Miami and from throughout our region. And we're going to discover new prospects for digital trade, venture investments, small business innovation, while considering the imperative of digital and financial inclusion and the role of governments in supporting that ecosystem we aim to build. And that's where we function in the IDB as a group. On the public sector side, giving good advice, regulatory environments, legal environments, how to make that all the better. So we encourage all of you to make the most of the 2 rounds of virtual matchmaking sessions that we're going to have today and tomorrow. New suppliers, service providers, partners, the possibilities are just clicks away. They are endless. And stay tuned. It's not just today. We're going to have some exciting new initiatives to be announced. One of the key roles that we play here at the IDB is to grow networks and to build partnerships, both bilaterally, multilaterally, and frankly across sectors. This forum leverages the ever-expanding community of entrepreneurs that we already host in Connect Americas, which is the first such network for our hemisphere's success to make business connections throughout the region with the United States and elsewhere. And this event also serves as a special 10th anniversary edition of our Outsource to LAC, which has become the most important business forum of global services industry for our region. These are the elements of a whole of bank effort, of a IDB group effort to leverage the private sector more than ever before, because the private sector is going to be the key to the region's recovery. Several of our panelists and participants represent the companies that joined our private sector coalition, which launched in February, the largest private sector coalition in the history of the IDB, which we're very proud to have launched. And both IDB Invest and IDB Lab are redoubling their efforts to mobilize resources from the private sector. As you'll hear from all IDB leaders during this forum, the region's recovery from COVID-19 and the sustainable, inclusive, and modernizing recovery that we must have depends on the leadership of the private sector. It is the key to recovery. And while there's robust opportunity, the region continues to face unprecedented challenges due to the pandemic and frankly due to other factors. The fundamental precondition for recovery, of course, is getting shots into the arms, is the vaccines. We go to sleep and we wake up every day thinking about how to get more vaccines into the region to help increase the volume, the speed, the equitable distribution of these life-saving shots. We're bringing all of our tools as a group to bear. In addition to the wide-ranging lending that we've already provided to mitigate the impacts of COVID-19, the IDB has mobilized, within my first 100 days, mobilized $1 billion for the inoculation effort. And we've directly helped already 10 countries in the region with vaccine purchases and distributions. We're also working with governments throughout the region on a first-of-its-kind instrument, the only international financial institution in the world to launch an instrument that helps negotiate with vaccine makers by resolving disputes over indemnity clauses. And that's critical to democratizing access to vaccines. And as we seek to accelerate the region's recovery, we aim to lay the foundation for growth that is both lasting and transformative. To truly overcome this crisis and materialize the opportunity that's available, we developed a blueprint for reinvesting in the Americas. We call it Vision 2025, reinvesting in the Americas. No doom and gloom, no lost decades, reinvesting, refocused in the Americas. At its core, are 5 priority areas of work that will maximize our efficacy and are provided unique opportunities, multi-generational opportunities that may never happen again, that may never happen for decades to come. 1, regional integration and strengthening value chains, which includes the accelerating trend of nearshoring. It's a reality, it's happening, and no region can benefit more than Latin America and the Caribbean. 2, the digitalization of our economies and services. We're seeing it. Not a human being in the world today, because of the pandemic, doesn't understand the importance of digitalization. 3, support for our critical small, medium-sized businesses. The success story of the United States are small, medium-sized businesses. It's the heart of the economies, and it's the heart of every economy in Latin America and the Caribbean. We should be focused on bridging gaps. 4, gender equality and inclusion across the board. Nothing can have a greater impact on GDP across the region than the inclusion of women into the labor force and breaking the bottlenecks for women financing for small, medium-sized enterprises, which, by the way, are the most successful entrepreneurs in Latin America and the Caribbean. That's right. Women are the answer. And 5, robust action on climate change. No region in the world can benefit more from renewables, from the new opportunities, than Latin America and the Caribbean. So as we work with the region's governments to improve regulatory frameworks for business, to invest in human capital, to build sustainable infrastructure, to empower women, and safeguard our environment, there's an essential role for the private sector here at every step. On digitalization, we estimate that if Latin America and the Caribbean could close its connectivity gap by the OECD average, it would generate 15 million additional jobs, 15 million additional jobs, and increase its GDP by almost 8%. And so we're financing the digital transformation of small, medium-sized enterprises in Guatemala, and we're helping extend the internet to underserved areas in Peru and Mexico, but we need your help too. We need the private sector to do its part. Your investment in digital services is one of, in any of our countries, for example, could really help build a new segment of a value chain, which could very well benefit the small businesses associated with it. Gender equality, environmental standards could be built in from the start. We can start new, setting a new example for the kind of growth our countries need. And that growth and those healthier societies can mean new markets for your businesses down the road. Acting on investment potential today can mean assisting in the effort to reactivate the Latin American and Caribbean economies, to rebuild the societies, but most importantly, what is our bread and butter, to improve lives, which is what we seek to do every day. So thank you for playing that role. Thank you for being with us here at Miami-LAC. And let me also extend a special thanks to Tigre Wenrich and Lab Ventures, which is graciously providing the space for much of our event. We're super grateful for that. And we've put all of our effort into this. Let's put our connections to work. Let's not make this about rhetoric, tell a story. Let's put our connections to work. Let's make things happen. Let's forge new ones. Let's make new deals. Let's create a true tech and innovation ecosystem for development, a digital bridge between Miami and Latin America and the Caribbean, and eventually a triangle with Madrid, Lisbon. That'll be the next step, and we invite all of you to join us as well on that. Thank you so much. Appreciate everyone for participating, and welcome and good luck.